Welcome back, S'mores, to Beyond the Campfire, where today we've got a chilling episode. The disappearance of not Paula Dean, Paula Jean. That's right, today, folks, we'll be diving into a very long mystery that led to some interesting things. If you are new here, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And Steven, Paula Jean, not Paula Dean.
Yeah, there we go. We got the mystery of Paula Jean Weldon. She was an 18-year-old college student at Bennington College in North Bennington, Vermont. So we'll get into who she was, what happened to her, and the theories surrounding her mysterious disappearance. So we'll get right into it. Her story really connects into a larger mystery. We might actually talk about that larger mystery at some point in the future. Uh, but the year is 1946. We're about a year
Mm,
past World War One, right? So the U.S. is starting to try to move past the war, start looking
yeah.
toward the future. Of course, more conflicts are on the horizon, like the Korean War and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
the American people don't know that at that time. So again, for the most part, people are just trying to get back to normal life. And then you have enter Paula Jean Weldon. She's an 18-year-old sophomore, again at Bennington College in North Bennington, Vermont. She was from Stamford, Connecticut. Sorry, Stamford, Connecticut. And she lived in what was called the Dewey House on campus.
The Dewey House.
The Dewey, right? So yeah, think of your average 18-year-old college student, just a hope that they have, right? The potential for the future. They're trying to figure out who they are, what they want to do in the future, potentially, maybe who they might marry, right? Maybe who they're marrying is on campus. For Mr. Will here, that was the case for him. For others like me, that comes later on. But nonetheless, here you go. You have Paula Jean. She's going to school in Vermont. By all accounts, loved her family, was loved by her family, was not known to do any like anything unusual per se, right? Wasn't like she was doing drugs, wasn't
Yeah.
known for running with a bad crowd. She would occasionally take walks, maybe go on a hike. So nothing
Hmm.
too unusual about that. One thing, and we'll get into this later, she was not known to be dating anybody or seriously
Hmm.
romantically involved with anybody. That'll get into one of the theories about what happens later. So, average girl in, more or less average town in Vermont. So today is December 1st, 1946, and Paula Jean is working both the breakfast and lunch shift at her college. So her campus
Hmm.
served breakfast and lunch. Uh, and yeah, she was, working there. That's something that she would usually do. After her lunch shift, she went to her house. This is around 1 p.m. now at this point. She goes to a roommate and she's like, hey, I'm going to go on a hike. I'm, kind of tired of studying. And yeah, so I'm going to put on my red parka, my jeans, going to go out on this hike on what's called Vermont's Long Trail. Do you want to come with me? Roommate's like, nah, I'm just going to hang out here at the house. So, you can.
Lazy bum.
I know, right? Yeah. So, in hindsight, it's like, hey, if she was with her, would things have turned out differently or would she have disappeared too? Who knows,
Who
right?
knows?
Right. But so Paula Jean leaves and she is spotted two more times that same day, and then she is never seen again. Okay,
Oh
so
boy.
let's talk about this two times. So she leaves. So
Hmm.
after she leaves around 1:45 p.m., she's seen calling for a hitchhiker to take her to Vermont's Long Trail. And so one stops, she gets in the car with them, and they presumably drive her to, the head of Vermont's Long Trail. So
Yeah.
that's at 1:45, and then at 2:45, there's another confirmed sighting of her actually arriving at the trail and then walking into the trail. And at
Mm.
2:45 p.m. sighting, sorry, I'm getting mixed up. 4 p.m. Right, so 1:45, she calls a hitchhiker, and then at 4 p.m., the last time she's seen walking along Vermont's Long Trail. No, I'm right. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes wrong. I am right. Okay, 2:45 was the last time she was seen. She's walking along uh, Route 9 of the Long Trail. At 4 p.m., it starts to snow. And, we're talking Vermont, right? So this isn't Georgia.
Okay. So hold up. I don't know if Steven, you saw my text. S'mores. Make sure when you film that everything is plugged in. Can you see me?
No, I cannot see you. Oh,
Hold up. All right,
yeah.
S'mores, give us just 1 second while we figure this out. So we got everything fixed. What happened was I misclicked on a button. Well, first off, my laptop died. And then on top of that, I misclicked the button and disconnected my microphone and camera from the streaming. And
Oh,
then I was like, well, how do I do this? I felt like a boomer, trying to use a smartphone. And did I look at the bottom to see that there's the camera on and off button? No. Did I spend 5 minutes looking it up to figure it? Yeah. Anyways, last thing I heard before disconnecting was about her almost being kidnapped by Ted Bundy.
there we go. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. So I'll get back to the hitchhiker real quick. S'mores. I'm going to show you what she looked like, just so you kind of have an image of in your head. So there she is.
And for the audio listeners, we are looking at a basic white woman.
Yeah. Basic night.
Imagine what you would think a college girl in the 40s would look like.
Yeah. Yeah. So, um, yeah. So that's her. So yeah, she was picked up by a hitchhiker. Uh, One account says that it was local contractor Lewis Knapp, and he picked her up, drove her along Route 9, dropped her off at a point short of the trail, and that was around 2:45 p.m. And that was the last time. Or no, sorry, 1:45 was when she was picked up. 2:45, some other people saw her walking along the trail,
Okay.
and then uh, that was the last time she was ever seen. So here's the thing about Vermont, right? Vermont is very, very, very north. It shares a border with Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's winter, or at least approaching winter in Vermont, here in Georgia, it gets dark around 6 o'clock, right? Which is
Yeah.
still pretty early. In Vermont, it starts to get dark around 4 o'clock, right? So, walking in the woods at 2:45, you're cutting it pretty close there for, it being a good time to walk
Yeah.
Vermont. Um, 4 p.m. arrives, and a lot of snow starts to also fall at that time. And so basically from 4 p.m. and then throughout the night, snow is falling. Now, you would think that Paula Jean, her roommate, would have said something when she wasn't back around 4 p.m., or when she wasn't back at 9 p.m., or when she wasn't back at 11 p.m. But no, Paula Jean's roommate did not say anything.
Man, let me
Room,
tell you guys something. What is the lesson we're learning from this? Be careful who you choose your roommate to be, because it might just ditch you and just let you die in the woods alone.
I know, right?
If
Check in
she died.
on your homies. Check in on your homies,
Yeah,
right?
checking your home. This is your reminder, guys. Pause the video. Go call your homie. Check in on him.
There you go. So her roommate said, "Oh, I just assumed that she was studying at the library, right? Late into the night, so She took a walk and then went to the library. By the way, the red parka and jeans that Paula Jean was wearing, that was fine for like cool weather. That was not fine for snowstorm at night weather.
Dude, let me tell you something. It snowed here. When did we have snow last? It was back in January.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, if I did not have my thermal underwear on, my long handles, down here in South, we call them long handles. If I didn't
yeah.
have those things on, man, my butt would have been frozen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, if you're gonna hike, maybe take a friend. If a friend's not gonna come, then maybe just don't go.
And and also if you go hiking, dress appropriately.
Yeah, yeah. It's like
Like even today, why are you wearing booty shorts and a tank top? Come on, have some decency, man.
there you go. There you
Wear
go.
some sweatpants.
So the next morning, it's now Monday morning. Her roommate wakes up, sees that Paula Jean's not there, and so she's like, "Uh oh, she didn't come home last night. Where is she?" So
Now she's concerned. Now she's concerned.
yeah. So she kind of looks around. She's like, well, she's left some money here, and like a lot of her travel supplies and things are still here. So she didn't just like pack up and skip town, presumably.
You almost had me there. Like when you're like, she saw some change on the counter. I'm like, this roommate. Don't
And
tell me this bitch stole from her. It's like, hey, my roommate disappeared. Well, you know what? A couple quarters, that'll be fine.
there you go. Right,
Back
right.
then, that was a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah. She's not quite that nefarious.
Good, because when you said the money, I was like, don't tell me, don't do it. And then when she didn't do it, I was like, thank God, there's some decency here. Lets her roommate disappear and still doesn't take her money. That's good.
Yeah. So the campus police look around campus. They don't find her.
They got the joke cops out there looking for her.
Right? Local officials start to search town. They don't find her. So then they're like, okay, let's call the family. Hey, um, Miss Mr. and Mrs. Jean Weldon. We don't know where your daughter is, but don't worry, we're looking for her. Right?
Yeah.
Fun fact about Vermont: Vermont at this time did not have a Vermont State Police. They had some like city polices, maybe
Yeah.
police, but like a statewide organized police force did not exist. Um, and this is 1946, so Vermont is pretty late in the game.
Yeah.
That's going to be important for later because this is going to explain maybe possibly why she was not found. So eventually, local police forces, students, faculty, volunteers, family members, firefighters, the National Guard, everybody starts to search, right? They comb through the college, they comb through the town. Bennington College actually closed for several days so that students and professors, the faculty and things could help search. So the whole college, and again, Bennington College is not a very big college.
Yeah.
Actually, out of curiosity, I'm just going to look up how big
What's the name of the college?
Bennington. It's in Vermont. Yeah, so even today they have about 900 students. And like my local high school that I went to is like 1,800 students. So my local high school is twice the size of this college, right?
My high school was, I think, 2,500.
Oh wow, so yours was even bigger than mine.
Well, mine was all the whole county basically.
Gotcha. That's fair. That's fair. So yeah, this college was like, yeah, we're gonna close down. This is big enough. This is important enough to us that we're gonna get everybody involved in the search to see what happens, right? So they're all looking. They look around Long Trail area. They look around the branches of the trail. They go on Route 9 where Lewis Knapp dropped off Miss Paula Jean. And they looked around the region of Glastonbury Mountain. Glastonbury Mountain is going to be important. So remember
I'm just gonna butt in real quick because I decided to look it up. Right now, Bennington College has 800 people. However, when I looked it up in the 1940s, the student population ranged from roughly 250 to 300 women.
Okay. Hey, so yeah, I mean this is a close knit group of people. Um,
Yeah,
Not that everybody knew each other really well, but everybody would have known who Paula Jean is, right? So it would make sense that the school would close down to try to hopefully find this girl. Okay, so days turn to weeks, weeks turn to months, and eventually police stop saying we're gonna find her. To does anybody have any information on her?
yeah.
And when police kind of start to change their messaging, that's where things start to settle in for the family. That's where things start to settle in for friends that
Man,
might not be found.
that roommate probably feels real shitty.
Yeah,
Could you
yeah,
imagine, like, I mean, just gotta put yourself in that shoe. You're just like, she's at the library. And now it's been months and no one's seen your roommate. And who knows? If the roommate had thought about it before, could she have been found sooner?
for sure. And police will say this all the time. They say the sooner a person is reported missing, the better chances it is to find them. They say the more time passes where they have not been reported missing, the more likely that they will not be found. Right.
Well,
So
yeah. I mean, like I mean, that's true when you think about her case because, like you said, the snow's starting to fall. It's winter, so if she slipped and fell on the trail, now she's covered underneath snow, and they're probably not going to be able to find her if fresh accumulated snow has buried her. And then by the time you get to spring, I mean, wild animals could probably find her. And it's just, I mean, if the roommate had said something sooner, they probably could have definitely found her.
for sure, for sure. Um, and so what makes the case strange, and actually Will kind of just covered one of the theories,
Oh, okay.
which is probably the boring theory that
Yeah. Well, that's a
she
good thing that I got it out of the way.
sure, yeah. So, and this is actually the leading theory, but it's the less fun theory, right? But the leading theory is she died of natural causes. She's hiking. She might have fell, got stuck somewhere. Snow fell, covered her body. She died of exposure, and then by the time she actually thaws out, come springtime, you know, other forces are at work. Uh, Still, though, even with that explanation, here's a strange thing: no body was found. No confirmed clothing, no belongings.
Yeah. See, that's where I was fixing to chime in and say, um, like you were just saying, it really is a mystery at that point because you're right. Clothing. I mean, a pack of coyotes. Well, at that point, I don't know if Vermont has coyotes. I know we have coyotes. I don't know if Vermont's close enough to where they would have wolves or, but they would have a predator type animal, a scavenger almost to where they would have picked the body, and ate it, but they're not going to eat clothes. So, and I'm pretty sure a red parka is going to stick out like a sore thumb,
Right,
you
exactly.
know? So I get what you're saying with that theory. It's like, could be plausible, but it's like they would have found something.
Right, and that's why there's holes at least in the mainstream theory, because animals are probably going to eat the body and stuff like that, but they're not going to eat her genes. They're not going to eat her red,
No.
and none of that stuff was ever found. Now, some people would say, well, this is a really big woods, is a really big trail. It's possible that she fell somewhere like just so covered up that like yeah, you're not gonna find that stuff. Um, Maybe not for decades or ever. Uh, Now, I mentioned Glastonbury Mountain. So actually, between 1945 and 1950, several people went missing while hiking Glastonbury Mountain. Paula Jean was just the first. So the area around Glastonbury Mountain later becomes called Bennington Triangle. And Bennington Triangle, there's a lot of theories about Bennington Triangle. I'm just going to focus this particular episode on Paula Jean. But Yeah, we could probably do an episode on Bennington trial one day.
I hate triangles, man. I'm sick of these triangles. Why is it always triangles? Why can't we have a square? Why can't we have a haunted circle? That's pretty spooky. Would be really cool is a haunted rhombus. You
Right?
know,
Yeah, I know.
like come on, like
Why can't we have fun shapes? All right. Just
nothing says evil, scary shape like a rhombus.
ooh. Okay. All right. Anyway,
Stephen's part of
so
the Illuminati.
here we go. Actually, let me get past the boring theories, quote unquote,
Yeah.
because Bennington triangle is probably the most interesting one. So another one is that there was foul pay, right? Um, so there's one figure mentioned was a local lumberjack named Fred Gaudette. He reportedly lived along Harbor Road, was in a domestic argument around the time Paula passed by, and kept changing his story. Later, allegedly claimed that he knew roughly where Paula was buried, and then said he was joking. Um, Later on,
So wait,
so
who this was a classmate?
so Fred was a local lumberjack living in the town. He was having some kind of argument when Paula passed by on the road, and so police questioned him, and he kept changing his story. First, he said, "No, I didn't see Paula." Then later, he's like, "Okay, I did see Paula, but I didn't really talk to her. I was arguing with somebody else." Uh,
Yeah.
so he's changing his story. So that was weird. Then finally, he said, "Okay." He's like, "You know what?" He's like, "I did it. I killed Paula and I buried her." They're like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. She's buried over here." So they went search where he said she was buried, and she wasn't there. And he's like, "Yeah, no, no, I was joking." He's like, I don't know
Dude,
what."
this is like the OG bandwagon guy. It's like when you're small town, because this was a small town. Sounds like it's like when this stuff is making kind of national news. It's like, oh, well, I want to be famous, so I'll fake it.
Yeah,
And then when everyone's like actually wanting to know, you're like, you
yeah,
see, the funny thing is, it didn't happen.
yeah. So Fred Gaudette, he gets a lot of attention from this. He gets a degree of notoriety, but police, it was enough for them to investigate him. But after like searching his house and like searching his statements, they're like, "Yeah, I mean this guy didn't do it.
He's just wanting to be famous.
He just wanted to be famous." There is a small group of people that think Fred murdered her, but again, there's just not enough
Yeah,
evidence.
those people we call those people idiots.
Yeah, like he knew her. Was he talking to her a lot? No. Why would he want to kill her? Like it just like no. It just
There's no reason. I mean, it just that. So let's see. We got two theories, and they're out the window.
yeah. Another theory says she ran away. So they said, hey, Paula was young. She's away at college. You know, and then it's like, hey, maybe she had a secret lover and they ran off together and eloped in Canada or something.
Could you imagine?
I know. The problem with this theory is, um, she like her friends remember her talking about maybe changing her major to botany or something like that. But they're just like, yeah, I mean, she's a pretty basic girl. Like she didn't really talk about any grandiose schemes of running away to Canada or just leaving her life behind. And like even if she was going to do that, she left a lot of money, warm clothing, and luggage back at her dorm room. If she
Yeah,
was
yeah,
run away, why would she leave that stuff behind?
exactly. You're running away. You're gonna need money, unless she was running away to be with her sugar daddy.
Yeah, yeah, no,
He had the money already. She's like, I don't need my money. I don't need my clothes. My sugar daddy gonna take care of me. My sugar daddy in Canada. He's a Canadian oil tycoon. He's got a lot of money.
there you go. This is a darker theory. So some suggested that she went into the woods to kill herself, that she had depression, and so she went there to commit suicide. Problem for this theory is all of her family, all of her friends were like, "Hey, she never showed signs of depressions. She had problems, but like her problems were basically that of any other college student, right? So nothing that would make her, want to kill herself. They said
Yeah.
also, like, at least in the 1940s, usually there still is at least some kind of note or anything like that. So this theory is just speculative. Not that it's impossible, but it's just not strongly supported. There's not a lot to suggest that this was actually something she was leaning towards doing or actually doing.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, finally, two theories, and these are the fun theories.
Yeah.
Uh, so one theory is that she was abducted by aliens, right?
I know it. You know what,
Aliens.
Maddie? You know what my wife says? She says, you guys need to bring back whenever you do your theories. You got to put the aliens in there somewhere. And we've been bringing it back.
Yeah, yeah. So in the 1940s, there was at least 7 reportings of UFOs in that area. Now, this was throughout the 1940s. This wasn't necessarily close to when um, Paula Jean was operating. I think I think the most recent UFO sighting was I think there was one 2 months before she disappeared. So I think this
Could
one
be
would be more compelling if there was a UFO sighting the day
that
she.
night. Kind of like with our old boy Frederick, Frederick Valentich, where people actually saw a UFO at the time of his disappearance.
Yeah, and it was multiple people too, right?
Yeah, it
So
wasn't just like a one shot dude.
yeah, so this one's more of a fringe theory. Um, I mean, maybe, right? There had been some UFO activity around the Glastonbury Mountain area.
Yeah,
Nothing particularly her night that night per se. You could say it's a small town. It was snowing, so there could have been a UFO swooping down, and people just didn't see it because of the snow. Maybe that would explain like why her body wasn't found or anything like that. But I also think there's just a lot of other possible explanations. Nonetheless, it's a fun theory, right?
yeah. Who doesn't like aliens?
Who doesn't like aliens,
Gives
right?
me gives me some new merch ideas
Yeah,
for
yeah.
aliens.
So,
Homework. You didn't do your homework? Aliens. Your dog ran away? Aliens. Your grandma died? Aliens.
all right. And the most popular theory, which I've already talked about, was the Bennington Triangle.
Yeah.
So, again, between 1946 and 1950, several people disappeared around Glastonbury Mountain in that southwestern Vermont area. Paula's disappearance is the most famous of them, but yeah, Bennington Triangle really just kind of becomes legendary after all these disappearances. People start to say, "Hey, you go into the woods." So there's not a lot of reports of this, but some people said they would go into the woods, and they said they felt as if a presence was following them and drawing them deeper into the woods. Some people reported seeing figures walking around the night, but then when they would turn to look, those figures would disappear. And then finally, obviously, you have the disappearances. So there is at least some people that believe that the woods are cursed, that there are spirits roaming in those woods that are either driving people to kill themselves or to go deeper in the woods or to do all these things, and that these people are not necessarily like deciding to make bad decisions, but these spirits are leading people to make bad decisions in the woods that are leading them either to get killed or to disappear or something else. And so there are some supernatural forest elements going on. Some people attribute that to the
Yeah.
Native Americans that had lived there centuries past. There are rumors that human sacrifices had taken place in those forests long before any of these events. So Bennington Triangle, again, take what you will with that area, but maybe there's some supernatural stuff going on.
Yeah. Are you? And I guess are you going to mention about what kind of like I guess sort of led because when I said at the beginning, by the way, I don't know if you have this in your notes, but because of how local officials handled this disappearance case, her father was very upset. So were other people, and it actually led to the creation of Vermont State Police.
Yes, I didn't mean to mention that. Yeah, that was one thread I forgot to follow up on. So yeah, no, thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, Vermont didn't have a state police at this time. They're kind of relying on local authorities. But because of this, right, Paula's father very much criticized the investigation, saying, hey, local law enforcement, they're lacking the training and coordination needed for cases like this. You have a girl go missing statewide, and you have like, it's one of those things, too many too many chefs in the kitchen, right? It's like,
Yep.
well, for an investigation like this, you needed one central head. Instead, you
Yeah.
had 20 independent heads. You had the campus police, you had the professors, the schools, you
Yeah.
had authorities from other states.
And it just was it was a crap show. I mean, when you got that many people running around trying to figure this out, somebody might see something, somebody might not. There's cross information. It's a whole hodgepodge, just big mess.
Exactly. So, because of this, reforms were made. Government started pushing some things forward, and they're pretty quick. So she disappeared December 1st, 1946. Sometime in 1947, so not even a year later, the
Yeah.
Vermont State Police is officially created, and that's the police force that is still operating in the state to this day. So, again, whether you believe the supernatural stuff or not, Paula Jean's disappearance led to some very like practical political consequences in the state of Vermont. And yeah, her you can thank her if you have any Vermont listeners, which I doubt, not impossible, but
I think
if you
we
have any
do.
listeners, you can thank her disappearance for you guys now having a state police force.
Bingo. So, Stephen, what do you think could have happened with her?
So I will say it's weird that no clothes or anything were found. So
Yeah.
that would be the only thing that would make me think potentially something supernatural was going on. Um, but it is a big woods. I looked at like pictures of the area and the forest
Yeah.
area. There is a lot of places to get lost, and I mean I could almost imagine her walking through the woods. It starts to get dark. It starts to snow, and she's like,
Yeah.
"Oh shoot, I messed up." So she's like trying to run back. Maybe she's trying to get safety from the snow. She tries to hide in some kind of cave or ditch, and so it's not impossible that she died of natural causes and her body still hasn't been found because it's just such a big forest. Like that's not impossible for that to be a theory. So I'm gonna go with the boring theory. I think she probably did die of natural causes. Um, again, there's
Yeah.
a lot of places to get easier. What does make me hesitate to fully buy the natural causes theory is just the fact that, again, you would think a red parka would really stand out in jeans. You would think they would have found it by now, 80 years later, and they
Yep.
have. So, what about
Sorry.
you?
I was trying to listen, but Rooster walked in here. My
No,
son, for those of you who don't know, my son just kind of walked in here, and I'm sitting here. I have my microphone muted, and I'm just trying to sit here and listen to Steven talk about this girl disappearing, and all I hear is a hey, hi, hey, hi, hey. Comes up right up to me like, "Hey, Dad, pay attention to me." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm in the middle of recording." That's why, for those of you watching, if you saw me leaning like this, it's because the doorway. I'm in the dining room, and that's the doorway into the kitchen and stuff, and especially where his room is. So I'm trying to like, my family's privacy over here. Like, you don't see my wife looking all
right.
sexy over here. No, I think with her disappearance, I think, like you said, there's a lot of questions and not a lot of answers. I definitely think, the lumberjack theory, that one can be straight thrown out the window. I mean, that is just a guy trying to be famous. Um, Dying of natural causes, and it doesn't make sense. I mean, you would find something, she would not just vanish completely, Um, and then with what was the other theory? The suicide theory, there's no way that you can point that, you know, because Logan Paul would have found her, you know. Um, in all seriousness, no, like she showed no signs of it, nothing. I mean, in the alien theory, again, I'm not going to go with the alien theory because I think with the alien theory, like you said, I mean, we would, if there was a UFO sighting that night or that day, I could understand, but there wasn't. Um, I'm going to go with the last theory, man. I think there could be something supernatural in those woods, some unseen force, the Native Americans. Like, I kind of was looking it up, and I think the Pukwudgie kind of are in a little bit in that area, but we know how the natives believe. And, maybe they knew something we don't. Maybe there is something in those woods. Maybe something unforeseen took Paula Jean. I did not mean for that to rhyme. My new rap album dropping soon. Paula Jean, unforeseen, Wicca.
Oh boy, oh boy.
But no, I think I definitely lean for supernatural because she didn't take anything. She was just going hiking, and somehow she just completely vanishes.
Yeah, it's odd. It's really strange. And maybe we do an episode on Bennington Triangle one day because again, she's not the only person who disappeared.
Yeah.
So it's just like if it wasn't for those other disappearances, I probably would lean even more strongly towards the natural causes theory. But hey, I mean, you have several other disappearances. It's like maybe something else more is going on. So
Oh yeah. Well, I think that's all I've got. You got anything?
that's all I got. So yeah, that should do it. Just yeah, we're about 80 years since her thing. So if she somehow survived, right? Like if she ran away to Canada to be with some Canadian sugar daddy or something like that, she would be 97 years old right now.
97. Yeah, she'd be 98 this year.
98 this year, right? So it's not impossible that she potentially is still alive out there, but I doubt it. I think she's gone. She has left this world, and maybe not in an alien way, or maybe in the alien way. Who knows, right? But yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. That's my thoughts.
Well, thank you guys again for watching. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and make sure you guys follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Beyond Campfire. And if you're ever walking Long Trail in Bennington, Massachusetts, or Bennington, Vermont, be careful not to become the next victim of the triangle.